few days ago, I posted a video talking about my least used eyeshadow palettes in 2024, and today is the opposite. It's a little bit more of a happy celebration kind of video. These are my most used palettes of 2024, and I'm so excited. Last video was a little bit of a Debbie Downer, but this video is going to be a lot more fun, a lot more, yay, I've done it, instead of, ugh, whoops. But just before we do jump into the video, if you have not already, definitely like and subscribe. I was trying to hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year, but we have smashed that completely. I wonder how many subscribers we're gonna get by the end of December. What do you think? Let me know all your predictions down below. Also, there are some palettes in this video that I know you're not going to be too surprised about. I'm gonna get the Pan That palettes out the way first. I've not done B-rolls for Pan That palettes because you've seen them enough. However, I do have 3 Pan That palettes to share with you, which of course are my most used palettes of 2024. I'm not going to spend too much time on these because these are kind of a given. But the first one is Modern Renaissance. This is what she looks like. I am pre-filming right now, so hopefully I'll have pan on this one. My update, my Pan That palette update would have gone live a few days ago. However, it is still a few weeks for me because I am pre-filming. I've finished 3 shades in this, I think, this year. It's not been the best year for this palette, to be honest. I think I got burnt out pretty early on in the year with this, so the progress isn't incredible, but I only have 1 shade left. I really hope that I can finish this in the next few months because Jesus Christ, it's getting really boring. It's getting really, really grating right now. But of course, this is probably my most used palette of the whole year. Pan That palette, it really do be like that. Next, I have the palette that rolled in place of Modern Renaissance and that will continue into 2025 with me. This is That's Taupe. You can see there is quite a lot of use on this already. I did roll this in maybe about 2 or 3 months ago just to kind of fill up the room that was left by Modern Renaissance. It was a little bit boring updating 1 shade every month, so I decided to roll in my 2025 Pan That palette a little bit early, and I've really been loving this. I've really been enjoying this for every day, and I really love taupes as well. Taupes and blues are my favourite shades to wear, so this has been an amazing addition to my little Project Pan journey this year. I've used this a hell of a lot. I use this in my brows every single day. You can see the dip forming there, and I use this shade to set my lid every day as well. So amazing use on that one. And then the third Pan That palette is Pan That palette in Order. This will not be coming into 2025 with me, unfortunately, but you can see the pans in this palette. It is amazing. I'm really proud of the progress that I have made in this palette over the past year. It looks a lot more beaten up and bruised than it did. However, I have discussed in other videos, Pan That palette in Order, it's just not, it's not a motivation for me right now. I'm kind of sick of it. I'm a little burnt out with it. So unfortunately, this is kind of where this journey is going to end for now. Maybe it'll come back in the future. I don't know, but for now, this is where this is going to end. But I know if you've watched my channel, you know these palettes, so nothing is going to be too, oh my god, wow for you. I didn't want to spend too much time on those. So let's talk about some palettes that maybe are a little bit more interesting. The first palette that I want to talk about is my Cosmic Beauty Culturals palette. I've really loved this. What was I saying about taupes and blues earlier on? This is such a nice, really good quality palette. I did do a review of this when it first released, and I mean, I've just loved it ever since. This is such a good everyday palette for me. These blues and cool tones are insane. I would prefer for this brown to be a little bit more cool tone rather than red, and then this red does throw me a little bit, but these 2 cool tones, really beautiful, especially with these blues, just so stunning. I've always wanted to try Cosmic Beauty or Cosmic brushes, and this is the first palette that I tried from them, and I was not disappointed in the slightest. Whenever I don't really know what to do, or when I have That's Taupe and I want to do something a little bit different, I do love pulling in this palette palette for maybe a blue wing or a little bit of like a duochrome over the top, something a little bit different. It has been so nice to incorporate in my Pan That palette to make things a little bit less boring. I have said a lot, Pan That palette has got a little bit boring this year for me, so trying to mix and match different palettes has made it a lot better, and this palette is just perfect because it goes so well with that taupe, and I mean, just look at it, it's beautiful. The next palette that I have to talk about is actually a very new palette, but I've been really loving this. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Sugar palette, and I did do a review of this as well on my channel. This, very similar to the Culturals, it's got those taupes, but it's also got that pop of blue that I absolutely love. I use this quite a lot as a date palette. I did do a get ready with me going on a second date, and I did use this, and ever since then this has been my go-to date palette. Now, I have been going on quite a few dates. I do like to go on a lot of dates. It's just what I like to do. And this palette is just a go-to for that. I feel really comfortable and confident with this palette whenever I wear it on a date. And I find that this palette is a great, specifically second date palette, because I do like to go very, very neutral on a first date. So I can wear these like top shades with a different kind of shimmer, maybe Colourpop Ritz or the Urban Decay Moon Dust, but then on the second day I do like to pop a little bit of blue in there, just because that is me. I, don't scare them off too much on the first date, but the second date I like to just add a little bit of colour in here, and that blue is perfect for that. Maybe just on the lower lash line or like mixed in somewhere, just a little bit of a hint. I've really, really been enjoying playing with it, and it makes me smile so much. I think this is amazing. I really, really do. I don't reach for the pinks too much. Definitely these more like cool toned, this silver, this blue, and then these two taupes up here. So stunning. I've loved this so much. Going out, want to feel good, want to feel pretty. It does clash a little bit with that taupe, but I've got to give myself a little bit of a break every now and then just to avoid true burnout with this. I've got to remember this is going to be with me all the way through 2025, so if I don't use this every single day right now, it's no big deal. I can still use this. But I've really, really been loving that, like 100%. Such a pretty palette. Next, I have a palette. It might be a bit obvious again, but I still wanted to talk about it and give it its time to shine. This is my Carnival XL Pro, and this has been my most used palette literally for about 3 or 4 years on the run. It is so huge, and I mean, as a colourful girl, this is my dream come true, I can't lie. This has been my focus palette in my Pan Those Eyeshadows project pan, where basically I hand choose one shade and I try and hit pan on it, and that is my little focus for the year. I've hit pan on a hell of a lot of shades this year. I think Ecstasy, Keen, Fortune, Orchid, Fade, I think all of those have been hit pan on this year. And also I completely finished this shade as well, Pillow Talk. That was this year as well. I've had a lot of use on this and I just love it so much. Right now my focus shade is this shade Mood. You can see there's a tiny little bit of a dip. Someone said it looks like a face, and I don't know if I can see that. But hey, if you see a face, that's great. I don't know if I can see it though. I just really love it. It's a classic. I always want to have this in my collection. It's not actually that bad quality considering how old it is. I mean, these 3 highlights can go. Like, I never, ever, ever use them. But the eyeshadows are stunning. This is just my perfect palette. If I don't know what to do, or I need a pop of something, or I want to make something a little bit more interesting, but I don't really know how, reach for this palette. It's stunning. I really want to get a few more shades finished in the next year. Maybe this black can be finished. Some shades that maybe are a bit easier to finish. I would love to do that because I want this palette to be as used as possible by the time that it gets so old that I can't use it anymore. I think this is stunning. I'll always love this. Mwah, love you. But I don't want to spend too much time on it because I mean, I feel like a bit of a broken record with this because I just keep telling you guys how much I love it at every opportunity, because I do. And that's when you know something's good, when I just don't shut up about it year after year after year. Next, I have a palette that I actually wore today. Before filming this, I decided to pop this on just as a little bit of something something. This is the Pastel Roses Crushed Diamonds quad, and it is the quad number 4. And at first glance, this looks really, really boring. Just 4 white shades, but it is anything but. These are 4 iridescent shades, and I actually have this first shade all over my halo eye today just to emphasize. What I love about this palette is you can do the most basic, boring look that you have ever done in your life. You can do a one shadow look with like a taupe or a brown or just something so boring, and then you can pop one of these on top and boom, it is so stunning. I'm really hoping you can see the shimmer effect of this eye look because it is so beautiful. We have a yellow, a blue, a pink, and a green in here, and it just adds that fun, it adds that excitement, and I love that so much. It makes me smile. It just makes me smile so much. There's been a few times where I've done a look and I've just been like, it's not that great. And then I've pulled this out, put one of these shades on top, and just been so confident. This is another one that I do pull out sometimes for like second or third dates, especially this blue here. If I do a boring neutral taupe look, just add a little bit of this blue iridescent over the top as a little bit of just something different. That just makes me smile so much. I feel really confident. I feel really beautiful in looks like that. And I mean, that's what beauty is all about. I definitely reach for these 2 shades a lot more than these 2 shades. The yellow and the blue are a lot more loved than the pink and the green. Pinks and greens just aren't really my thing usually, but I mean the blue, stop it right now. I could put that blue on any look. I could find a way to put it into any look. I accept the challenge. They're just so stunning, and $11.99. You guys, $11.99 for this, and with code Caitlin20, not affiliated, I don't earn any money from my Pastel Roses code. Even though I promote it all the time, I don't earn anything from it. It's just because I truly, truly love this brand. I want you guys to be able to try it at a discounted price. I don't earn anything. I want to make that so clear. I just love them so much. Run, literally run to get them because I want everyone to know the beauty of the Pastel Roses. And finally, I have one more palette to share with you today. And again, this was a little bit of a interesting one. I wasn't expecting this one. This is the SheGlam Chromazone eyeshadow palette, and I've hit 3 pans in this year, which is pretty damn good going, if I do say so myself. I reached for this quite a lot on its own, as well as little pops of colour and inner corner highlights. So this palette was more like a brow shade, an inner corner shade, a like liner. It wasn't necessarily I've used it so much for the creativity and the color story. It was more for like bits and bobs, if that makes any sense. I really do like the quality of this, and I have said before, I don't really want it in my collection for a long time because I don't support SheGlam anymore. It's not a very ethical brand, and this was in the running to be Pan That Palette this year. However, it did lose out. It did get a lot of votes though, which is really, really good. I can see this being a Pan That Palette in some other year because like I said, I don't want it to stay in my collection. However, I also don't want to declutter it because I really do love it so much. But as I said, this is a brow shade. This is a stunning, vibrant inner corner. And I mean, we've been through the fact that I love blue so much. So this little duochrome is just so up my street. I really, really like it, and I think as a Pan That palette, it would do really, really well. I think I'd struggle a little bit with these 2 greens, but the rest of the shades, I think I could smash out the park. So, I don't know, I've got my beadies on this one. I've used it a hell of a lot of times, and I'm really, really glad about it. It's not gathering dust. I mean, look at the state of this packaging though. That really annoys me. So maybe another reason to have it as Pan That palette. But this is it. These are my most used eyeshadow palettes. Let me know down below, what is your most used palette that you have in your collection? How many pans does it have? Is it clinging on for dear life? I know a lot of mine are. I'm gonna go because my voice is hurting me so much. I'm still a little bit sick. But thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow for a brand new video. Bye bye.